What is Khemet? For most people, Khemet is synonymous with Egypt. Egypt definitely owes a lot of its culture to Khemet. However, Khemet is the name for an area in Africa that bubbled up from the southern Nile River Valley all the way into what is present-day Egypt. Egyptologist Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen states, Nubia, present-day Sudan, is the mother of Egyptian knowledge. Ethiopia is the daughter, and Somalia, Kenya, and Uganda is the grandmother. In other words, the knowledge you now see on the walls of Egypt originated within interior Africa. Khemet means the Black Land, or Land of the Blacks, depending on who you would ask about the interpretations. The people of Khemet were Black African people. This is important to note because Western society has been silent on Africa and its history. Egypt is the only country in Africa that has left a historical record in stone. That's why we know so much about the history today, but not interior Africa. The Black African people ruled Egypt exclusively until circa 1650 BCE. This is a time when, quote, a mixed group of Asiatic people, the Hyksos, invaded Egypt. That statement is to recognize this point, that Egypt was distinctly Black and African for thousands of years. Why is this important to note? Because people of the African diaspora need to recognize that they built the greatest civilization known to exist on this planet, and that Africans had one of the most profound impacts on civilization the world has never known. That is, until very recent times. There are many people that now are starting to bring forth the truth of the impact that Africa and its people have had on the world beyond just the slave trade. I've already mentioned Dr. Ben, as he was affectionately known. On this idea of the impact of Africans, he states, Egypt is not the first great civilization along the Nile River, it is the last. The only difference is their legacy was preserved in stone. Let that sink in. Egypt was not the first great civilization, it was the last. This is being borne out by many people that call themselves Khemetologists. They see themselves different from Egyptologists because they are using multiple disciplinary fields like geology, which is the science that deals with the Earth's physical structure and substance, its history, and the process that act on it. Archaeoastronomy, which is the investigation of the astronomical knowledge of prehistoric cultures, and paleoclimatology, which is the study of changes in climate taken on the scale of the entire history of the Earth. All three of these sciences are being used to uncover the mystery of Egypt and not just archaeology. The indigenous wisdom teachings date the civilization known as Khemet to around 65,000 years old, give or take a few thousand years. This idea flies in the face of Egyptology, who wants to date modern civilization from around 6,000 years ago to fit their theoretical model of the development of civilization. Egyptologists believe in the paradigm that civilization moves from the simple to the complex. There is starting to be much evidence from the Khemetologists that simply make this paradigm seem ridiculous. That does not mean all the new information is correct, but it does open up things for a lot more questions. Now, I'm not going to make what I share with you solely about race. What I share affects humanity, not just one facet of this fabricated idea of race. However, it does need to be recognized in today's highly racialized society that Africans were front and center in the development of the world civilization. I speak of Khemet to give credit where credit is due for some fascinating ideas and knowledge in science, philosophy, theology, and metaphysics. Over the past 500 years, this contribution has been completely dismissed or ignored on the world stage. For the African diaspora, the recognition is relevant and important today for healing of deep wounds. For other cultures, this idea may be foreign to you for many reasons. I'm not asking you to accept it or to validate it. Just know from the perspective of one from the African diaspora that it is real and necessary. I will be moving forward from here to share some history and metaphysical ideas expressed in the stones that are amazing and life-transforming. The focus will be more on the metaphysical aspects with the history as a context for the ideas. I know you're probably used to really getting deep into the factual history. Khemet and its effects go much deeper when you understand the metaphysical practices and practical application to your life. If you were raised Christian, what you will find oftentimes scripture you thought was literal was actually, at its essence, a Kemetian metaphysical idea that was changed and reinterpreted as a literal religious idea. Just one example is John 1:1, and it states, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." This was a reiteration of a Kemetian proverb that was reinterpreted by Christians as proof that God was made flesh through Jesus. In reality, it is a reference to a Kemetian metaphysical concept that is thousands of years old. I know this will be a challenge for many to accept, but this is the knowledge we will delve deeper into moving forward. It's not just about history of civilization. It's not ultimately about race. It's about transforming and empowering humanity. The truth is, every human being is a descendant of Africa. Thank you for watching.